All right, boys, we are back, and it's time to head into the year two offseason with your Ottawa Senators. We got kicked out in round two against the Montreal Canadiens. Looking back at it, it was a good year. It's nice to make it back to the playoffs. It's nice to get past the first round, but to get kicked out the way we did in round two, it really does suck. We lost three in a row, and the game six that we got eliminated, we got routed 6-0. And what I said when we were playing through this series, we were up 2-1, and game four, home ice, 2-2 game going into overtime, and they got a goal from Patrick Eaves in overtime. That would have been the difference. If we won that game, that would have been the difference from us going up 3-1, from them tying it 2-2, and then going on to win it 4-2, right? So that overtime game right there was huge, and Robin Lehner just got outplayed by Carey Price. That last game, Robin Lehner really fell apart. Chris Neal tried to come in to help us out and worked, right? So we gotta figure out what we want to do here in the offseason. So let's simulate up to the drafts. Don't really have any comments or fan art this time, just because a lot of it had to do with the playoff series. I want to move on to the offseason now. And yeah, I'm happy with the year. There you go. So the owner is happy with the year. That's what I mean. Looking back at it, last year we made the playoffs, first round exit against the Toronto Maple Leafs. This year, make the playoffs again through an injury-riddled season, mind you. Get past the Tampa Bay Lightning in round number one, and then lose to the Montreal Canadiens in round number two, right? So it's a good year, but now we have to figure out how we're going to get better. I'm hoping that a lot of our young players just grow and get better that way, but I know you guys are going to have some suggestions for some trades and such, right? So let's get up to the draft and see what our possibilities are. Because we already pulled the trigger on our first line left wing before the trade deadline this year. That was something that I was thinking, if I didn't do it at the trade deadline, I'd be doing it at the draft. Guys like Clark MacArthur, if we still had him, he would definitely be moving out right now, right? But we've already solved that problem. Looks like our top six, we could easily come back next year, and I think it would be better for next year. Taylor Hall, Kyle Turris, Bobby Ryan, second line, Hoffman, Zibanejad, and Stone. We could easily come back with that top six again, and with a deep playoff run like we had this, well, not that deep, but deeper than last year, maybe they get better, right? If Taylor Hall and the Nashville Predators are your year two Stanley Cup champions, very interesting. But if Taylor Hall comes back and he's better next year, like an 88, 89, maybe a 90 overall, Kyle Turris and Bobby Ryan. I think Bobby Ryan's already capped off. Kyle Turris might be able to get a little bit better. And then our whole entire second line, I'm hoping, gets better, right? Zibanejad, Hoffman, and Stone. So those guys could get better. Weirkosh and CC might get better. Curtis Lazar might get better. So I think we should be patient with our squad here. Maybe make some changes during free agency once we know who's available. But before the draft here, I really don't see us making any major trades. All right, I'll go through the team. We'll do a pre-scout of the draft and all that good stuff. Don't you worry. We'll also take a look at all the awards and everything. And we'll go through these. But games played, there you go. That's the way to really take a look at the top-notch players here, right? So Marian Hossa, he's gone. Jerome McGinley, he's gone. There you go. All right, very good. Now we'll just go through the teams. Let's see here. Anybody? Did Chris Phillips? Is he retired? Nope. So Chris Phillips is coming back for another year. Eric Cole, though, we lost. All right, so it's not the end of the world there. He was actually not a bad third-line right winger, though. He did help us out get to the playoffs. But we still have Chris Phillips on the team, all right? Goaltenders, Scott Clemenson from the New Jersey Devils. He's the only NHL goalie that's retiring. So here we go. Up here at the draft. You know what? I'm going to go for a drink of water. There you go. It's early. Get some of that ice-cold water, H2O. All right. So let's take a look at the stats first, the awards and such. The Nashville Predators are your year two Stanley Cup champions, so Pittsburgh and Nashville. Very interesting. President's Trophy, the Montreal Canadiens. So we did lose to the President's Trophy winning team this year. I didn't even realize that. Clarence S. Campbell, Nashville, and Montreal went to the Stanley Cup Finals. So we lost to the best team in the Eastern Conference. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Art Ross, Steven Stamkos, Hart Memorial, Steven Stamkos, James Norris, Roman Josi. So he's... yeah, that's probably the reason. They probably have Roman Josi and Shea Weber both above 90 at this point. Lady Byng, Steven Stamkos, Calder Memorial, Sam Reinhart. So Buffalo's going to have a good team next year. Conn Smythe, Philip Forsberg, Vezina Trophy, Ryan Miller, William M. Jennings, Brian Elliott, and Jake Allen, Bill Masterton, Braden Colburn, Frank J. Selke, Jonathan Taves, Ted Lindsay, Steven Stamkos, Maurice Richard, Alexander Ovechkin again. All right. So there you go. There are the awards. The playoff tree. We'll just quickly take a look at it to show you guys. So the Nashville Predators, they beat them in, what was it? 5 games. Yeah, it only took 5 games played for Nashville. It was Nashville versus Vancouver in the Western Conference Final. There you go. And it was Montreal versus Pittsburgh in the Eastern Conference Final. Interesting Final Four this year. Okay, so there's that taken care of. Player stats of the playoffs. You know what? We'll go back to this. I actually didn't check this out after the Montreal Canadiens series. So we'll just go back and take a look at it. So Kyle Turris, see what I mean? Being 87 overall. Well, he's actually 26 years old. So if he stays till he's 26 till September, I don't know when his birthday is, he may get a jump still. So I'm hoping that he gets up to 88 overall. Stone, he had a really good playoff run. He's still 84. I'm hoping an 85 or an 86 for him. Zibanejad, same thing. 86, 87 would be nice. Bobby Ryan can stay at 89. Hoffman, 85, 86 would be nice. And Taylor Hall is back up to 89. Was he 89? Yeah, he's back up to 89. He was 87 before. So there you go. Our line's already better. Wingles, Winnick, all these guys down here. Very nice. Curtis Lazar, 3 points, +3. I'm hoping that he gets better. He can hopefully become like an 83, 84, 85. That'd be sweet. Defenseman. Hang on a second here. Points. Erik Karlsson with 13 and 12 games played. Weirkoch, hoping that Weirkoch can get better as well, 25 years old. And also Cody Ceci, hoping that he gets better, right? So it's a whole team of young players that we're hoping does get better. But here may be the problem, because Robin Lehner, you want him to get better, but he did not have the greatest statistical year. The regular season and the playoffs. Playoffs, 6-3-3, but goals against average above 3, so that's not good. And a save percentage, 90.11. So really not the greatest there. 85 overall. But any type of growth for Robin Lehner would help us. An 86 and 87 overall, that would definitely be nice for us, okay? So I'm hoping. So let's take a look at that. Now, before we go and take a look at the draft choices and positions, let's just see the possible or the potential trading assets that we have here, right? So, can't trade away Scrivens. He's only got 1 year left. We can trade away Robin Lehner, but I'm not trading away Lehner. We're going to give him the chance to get better. He's 24 years old. He could jump. Let me just go through this. Carlson we can trade. Braun we could trade. Mathot we could trade, but they still have 4-star potential, so I don't necessarily want to do that. Borowicki we could trade. He's got no trade value. Just going to go through the trade value guys here, right? Bobby Ryan. Stone we could trade. Can't trade. We can trade Dadonov. Not trading Dadonov. There you go. Let me just sort by this. We can trade Hoffman. We can trade Winnick. Winnick wouldn't be a bad trade if we needed to. Then again, I wouldn't mind holding on to that depth, right? Cullen Greening, can't trade him. Only 1 year left. You can trade. You can trade all these guys. Pajot we can trade, actually. That wouldn't be a bad one to think about trading. Okay. So we have some trading assets, nothing too spectacular. Let's go to the scouting report. Let's just see who is going in the top this year, right? So it actually looks like there's a few goaltenders. Yeah, there is. All right, so Mackenzie Savard, Tyler Brown, and Tyler Parsons are going in the top 5 for goaltenders this year. Carter Hart is going in the top 10. So you got 4 top-notch goaltenders. We're not going to be able to get ourselves anyone like that. And then the forwards, Tyler Benson, left wing, Austin Matthews, center, Luke Kerwin, left wing, Sean Day, defenseman, Logan Brown, center, Jake Kreisky, center. All right, so I wouldn't mind getting a top 10 pick, but I don't really see it happening this year, right? So, and I don't know any of these players, so we're just going to have to go into it, whatever potential player we have when our pick comes around, we have. Yeah, you know what? That's pretty much it. So hang on one second. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the Year 2 draft. Let's see who's available for the Ottawa Senators to snag up here, right? So we have the 18th overall pick. To move up to the top 10 wouldn't be impossible, I suppose, especially if I added in the 18th overall. But it seems like the San Jose Sharks, New Jersey Devils, Winnipeg Jets, the Edmonton Oilers are up there, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have a top 5 pick. Okay, interesting. So let's go into this, and let's just see what we have available for us. We have a few phones, so we can have some flexibility here. So centers. Nope. I wouldn't mind trading away Pajot at this point, just because we already got Konecki to replace him, and we traded away Pumpo at the beginning of this. Well, not the beginning, but for Taylor Hall, right? And this guy had a great season, but I don't see him cracking our roster. So at least in the top 6. I wouldn't put him on the bottom 6, right? So I'm going to just throw him in there for now, just to tell myself that I have him to trade. See what I mean about Taylor Hall's trade value? Went back up to 89, so we snagged him up at a good time. Hoffman, Winnick. I'll throw Winnick in there just to Just to know. There you go. Right wingers. No, no, no. Joel Ward, 1 year left. Can't trade him. All right. Defenseman. Braun and Mathot. I don't want to trade away Mathot yet. It would be next year that I trade away Mathot. We need some penalty killers. No, these guys are gonna stay. No, 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 no. None of you. And then goaltenders. That's it. Okay. So there's our trading assets. Pajot and Winnick. Now let's go through some teams here. We got to do our due diligence. Let's see if there's any top-notch players that are available out there. Not rookies. We're not trading away Pajot for another rookie. Let me just see if there's a clear-cut roster player that we could snag up. Marleau and Thornton. No, that's not going to work out for us. Go through. Nope. 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 Sherback. No. Yeah, see, we're only year 2 right now. There's still... It's not like the NHL has completely changed with all these new drafted players coming in. Usually happens by year 4, 5, 6, something like that. All right, so there's really no skaters available. Let's go to goaltenders because the way Robin Lehner played, let's see if there's a 4.5-star potential goaltender that's available by some team. Let's see. No. 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 Well, who's that guy? Nashville, 4-star probably? Yeah, 4-star. Don't need another 4-star guy. Don't need to take a chance on that. Ooh, hang on a second. Los Angeles. Ooh, look at this guy. Yuchi Efetatov. 74 overall. 20 years old. When did they draft him? 8th overall. All right, so the LA Kings. Now, remember, I don't want to get like another guy like, what's his name? Google Vaz. And he's got a lot of trade value right there. They also have Martin and Man Dixon. So, okay, let's go back to the LA Kings when we have the chance. Jimmy Howard from Detroit. No, we don't need to get that. Nope. 4-star potential goaltenders. Boston, Arizona, Anaheim. Okay, so let's go back to the LA Kings and let's see if this trade is at all possible. I don't think it is. I think his trade value is way too high up right now for me to try to go after a guy like this. Hang on a second here. All right, so I'll snag him up. Pajot and Winnick for that guy. I don't think that would work. All right, let's see. Any draft picks I could throw in here? No, not really. I want to keep my 18th. I don't have a second or anything. No. You know what? It's just, especially if this guy's a flop, no way. His trade value is just way too high up there right now. So I'm going to say no to goaltender, boys. That's something we can solve in the offseason or maybe next year. I'm not ready to go that far for a goalie just yet. So let's go through some of the teams here and see a top 10 pick. So the Detroit Red Wings want to give up their 6th overall pick. Hang on a second here. Pajot, Winnick. I could do that. Pajot, Winnick, and my 18th overall to move up to the 6th. All right, wouldn't mind trying that out. So Detroit, that would definitely work. 10th overall pick by Colorado. Okay, that wouldn't work. They don't want those players. I'm just going off of whether the team wants to give up the pick and whether or not they want the players there. And Detroit wanted both of them. The Winnipeg Jets, no, that won't go through. Wouldn't go up their 3rd overall pick. The Toronto Maple Leafs, no, they don't want the 2 players. Excuse me. I think the Detroit Red Wings would be the best bet here, boys. St. Louis Blues, yes, but the 25th overall pick, I'm not going to trade up for that. San Jose Sharks, the 1st overall pick, I'm not going to get that. Pittsburgh Penguins, Philadelphia Flyers, just looking for a top 10 teams. Islanders, all right, they'd want Pajot. Yeah, you know what? I think this Detroit one, it would work, and I don't care about realism when it comes to this because the game is saying they want to give it up and they want the 2 players right back, right? So I'm keeping it realistic within the parameters of the game. The 18th overall pick this year, so it's kind of like realistic to them. They still maintain their 1st rounder, but they get 2 more players that they want, a roster player and a prospect. And they're giving up a pick that's not a top 5 pick, right? But you saw the way the draft went this year. All those goalies were going in the top 5. So I might be able to sneak up one of those players at 6th overall, right? I think this is a good idea here. Now, hang on a second. I can make this trade a little bit more realistic for them. 7th and a 6th. Yeah, you know what? I could see Detroit doing that. With Detroit's great drafting history, they're getting 3 draft picks in this year to give up their 6th overall pick. And they're also getting Pajot and Winnick, 2 players that they want. All right, hang on a second. Let me think about this, because I know you guys are going nuts in the comment section right now saying, oh, that's not realistic. Hang on a sec. Let me see if I can make this a little bit more realistic for them. Smith and Wingles. No, I'm not trading either one of those guys. I need you to. Greening. Can't trade Greening. No. Lindbergh. Nope. Stone. Condra. Can't trade any of them. Defenseman. Can't trade any of them. And goaltender, I can't trade anyone else. All right, and I'm not trading my second-round pick for next year, no. All right, so I'll take away the 6th, but I'll give up my 3rd for next year as well, all right, to really hammer this home. So the 6th overall pick for Pajot, Winnick, our 18th overall pick this year, our 7th overall pick this year, and our 3rd round pick next year. So I want to make sure that Detroit Red Wings are not getting screwed over here, right? Will it go through? Well, it should go through, right? Oh, yeah, that should definitely go through. You know what? Should I take Winnick off of that? No. I'll put it through. There you go. All right, this is a really good deal for us here in Detroit. So I traded up in the draft, boys, to get the 6th overall pick. I gave the Detroit Red Wings a lot to deal with. Let's see who we can get our hands on. Kerwin, Logan Brown, Sean Day. God damn it! I thought the goalies were supposed to go in the top 5. I wanted to grab one of those players. All right, let's see who we have available here. Kreisky. Oh, my God. All the freaking goalies are left. All the goalies are left. All right, so if we're gonna draft a goalie here, this is the first time we've done this. Let's go for somebody who's gonna be top notch. All right, we gave up Pajot and Winnick for this, so I could get Jay Kreisky, who'd be a center, but I don't know if this guy would be 4.5 gold star potential, so I don't want to chance that. Same thing with these guys. I don't know about these guys, so you know what? No, we're not drafting a skater here. I really wanted to get my hands on one of the top 5 players. I guess that's why Detroit traded away the pick. All right, so Mackenzie Savard is 19 years old, OHL. Tyler Parsons is 18 years old, OHL, 6'2". Carter Hart is 17 years old, WHL. And Tyler Brown is 19 years old, WHL. So we're going to get somebody from the O. London or Niagara? Well, Mackenzie Savard is 5'10". This guy's 6'2". I think I should go with a bigger goalie, all right? So Mackenzie Savard or Tyler Parsons. Oh, the Canadian-born boy or the American? What should I do? You know what? I'm going to trust the game. I'm going to go with the guy on the top of the list, all right? Watch Parsons be like the better goaltender, whatever. I'm going to go with Mackenzie Savard. Mackenzie Savard, baby. Dan McKenzie, I couldn't pick him up in Arizona, so I'll pick up Mackenzie Savard. Goaltender, drafted 6th overall. So, Hart, Parsons, and Brown, we're going to have to take a look at. Wow, all those goaltenders went before Kreisky with Colorado. So we're going to have to take a look at... Oh, I'm going to have to write this down. Hang on a second here. Do I have a pen? Do I have a pen anywhere? Hang on a second here. Boys, time out. All right, we're back. I just wanted to write that stuff down so I don't forget, all right? Well, we're going to take a look at Hart, Parsons, Brown, and Kreisky, the 7th to 10th overall pick, the players that I could have picked up. But let's continue the draft for right now. We don't have any second-round picks, all right? We really could have traded those guys away for more picks, but you know what, man? We have a good team. We have a good young team. I don't really, I want to draft, but at the same time, I know I can unload these guys for younger players if I need to, right? Our team is young as a whole, so that goaltender would be nice, because if Robin Lehner's not the answer, this guy will be the answer. Hopefully the goaltender ends up being a good guy for us. So now we're here up in the 4th round, 4th round. Let's go after somebody here. Right wing, power forward. Do I need a right wing? No, I already have plenty of right wings. I can use some centers and left wingers. OHL, two-way forward. You know what? Yeah. You know what? He's from Ottawa. Hell yeah, I'll take this guy. Connor Graham. He's from Ottawa. Center, two-way forward. He's already 20 years old. This guy might be able to play a little bit earlier if he's not a complete flop. So we'll grab that guy at the 4th round. There you go. Let's continue. 5th round pick. Who's available? Let's see here. WHL, Portland. There you go. Oshawa, Kingston. Brett Primo, Sam Harding, center playmaker. Yeah, right wing. Yeah, you know what? I'll grab this center playmaker, Sam Harding. There you go. Pajot was sent out, so we'll bring back somebody else. Probably 3.5-star playmaker. There you go. The Detroit Red Wings and the Ottawa Senators. So yeah, Detroit doesn't need a goalie. They have Howard and Mrazek. It makes sense for them. Bertina, Jordan King, OHL, Bricknell. There you go, Bricknell, OHL. Grab this guy. All right, 6th round and 7th round, we traded to Detroit. All right, so there you go, boys. There's our draft day. We traded up in the drafts. We gave away Winnick, Pajot, and our 18th overall pick for the 6th overall pick. And I think, well, hopefully it worked out well for us. We're going to check out the other teams. You know, I don't really care if the other teams got good players. I just want to make sure that our guy is 4.5-star potential. He's not a flop like, I don't want to say Brendan Hope was a flop, right? But I want a 90 overall goaltender from 4.5-star potential. I want a clear-cut beast. So hang on a second here. Goalies, please. There you go. All right. So Savard was 60 overall, 19 years old with 4.5 gold star potential. hopefully that ends up being a good goalie. Okay, so there's our drafted player. There you go. Take a look at him. 5'10". Should have gone maybe with the taller guy. We're going to see here, though. We're going to see. So first we'll go to the Arizona Coyotes. They also drafted a goaltender. Let's see. Arizona Coyotes. Let's see. Did they draft a goalie or maybe they didn't? Yeah, they did. All right. So Carter Hart. This guy was the younger guy. He was 17 years old, 55 overall. Maybe this guy is going to be the better goalie because he's younger and he's only like what? 5 overalls less, maybe not, right? So it's not really, you can't really tell with that trade. So I didn't mess up there. Carolina Hurricanes, they got Parsons. This was the guy I was really thinking about going after, right? So the Carolina Hurricanes. Parsons, all right, so there you go. This guy's only 53 overall at 18 years old. So looks like I did the right choice there. The other guy would have probably been better. Hart would have been better than Parsons. Next, the New York Islanders, they got Brown. He was another goalie. Islanders, hang on a second here. Brown, let's see. Brown, okay, so Tyler Brown was probably the best goaltender to try to go after. Yeah, he was drafted 9th overall. So this guy was 65 overall, 19 years old with 4.5 gold star potential. So he's already 5 points better than our goaltender. All right, what are you going to do, though? At least we got somebody. And last but not least, the Colorado Avalanche, they got that Kreisky guy, the center that I did not think I wanted to go after because I didn't know if he was 4.5 gold star potential. Let's see. Kreisky, he's 4 green star. So I'm glad I didn't go after that guy because we have Kyle Turris and Zibanejad down the middle. So I think it was a good acquisition. I think there was one better goalie out there, but out of the 4, I got the second best, I think. All right, so I'll take that. I'll definitely take that. There you go. Mackenzie Savard, 19 years old, 60 overall. There's his individual stats once again. So let's try to grow this guy the right way. I'm not going to sign him in the first year. He can play in the minors for 1 year. I'm not even going to touch him. All right, so let's just get to re-signing here. All right, so I'll scratch you. Ben Scrivens is coming back for another year. There you go. He could be our backup to Robin Lehner. Nothing wrong with that. Defenseman, Cody Ceci. What's the contract length we're on right now? Let me just take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 for Bobby Ryan, 4 for Taylor Hall, and 2 for Erik Karlsson. All right, so 6. The players that I'd like to keep here, 6 years. Let's see, 6 years. Oh, yeah. I can definitely get Cody Ceci 6 years. He'd be worth it. I can get him down to what? Go down to 3.750 for 6 mil. There you go. Weirkoch, same thing. I'd like to get you for 6 years, unless it's 2. No, that's perfect. Same thing. I can get this guy down to... We'll get them both on the same. There you go. 6 years at 3.750 for Weirkoch and Ceci. That's definitely worth it for those 2 guys. Joel Ward. Oh, I'm going to have to get through all these guys. Hang on. Defenseman. Weirkoch. Chris Phillips, we definitely got to re-sign. We're not going to let this guy go anywhere. 1 year. 1.850, but we may need to find a defender to replace him this year. Slemko, you were a good depth player, and I can get you on a 2-way contract. Definitely want you back. Okay. Borowicki, Gryba. Do I want Gryba back? Well, they are depth defensemen. Depth, no, you're not going to make the AHL. LeBlanc, you're going to make the AHL this year. You're 70 overall, so I'll sign you. You know what, Barkowski and Gryba, I will sign you too. Not bad depth players. Why not? We'll just grab them up. Gryba. Sign you to, yeah. As long as they're 2-way deals, high 70 overall players, I can definitely use them for something. Now, Joel Ward, I would love to get back on the team for a 1-year deal, Joel. There you go, 2.250. If I need to trade him, I definitely can. Eric Condra, I'll hold off on you. Chris Neal, I'm going to release Chris Neal. Don't need Chris Neal anymore. He's not going to have a place on the team, and I don't even want to bring him in for depth. Just because that Game 6, the way it happened, and his low defensive awareness. He's played his way through the Ottawa Senators. It's time for him to go his own way. So Bricknell and Pedersen, they're not 70 overall yet, so we're not going to sign them. Condra, I'm going to wait on you. I want to save some cap space. Same thing with Greening. I'm going to wait on you. Gazdick, I don't need a tough guy. Don't need you guys. Don't need you. There you go. Perron, don't need you. Scratch everybody on the Ottawa Senators here. Graham, 66. Konecki, 69. We can sign him. If he can make the AHL squad, he'll be good enough to play like 3rd or 4th line minutes. There you go. Very nice. So let's fast forward here. Let's see if anyone grew. Not if anyone grew. That's what we're going to do at the end of the video. We'll get to the... actually, no. Yeah, we may have to stop in free agency so I can get your opinions. We may not get to see the growth in this video, which I'd like to see, but we're going to build a team here. So $11 million. How much can I sign Greening for? Ooh, 2 years. Colin Greening, let's see. Stats are not bad, but I'd like to go into the I'd like to go into free agency with a bit of money here. Eric Condra, let's see his stats. Same kind of thing. But they're not bad depth players. That's the thing. If I get them to... I can definitely get Condra. Okay, here we go. I can get Condra, and then Greening, let's see, 1 year. Yeah, you know what? I can sign him. That's fine. 1 year at 1.850. There you go. Very nice. All right, so let's fast forward here. So let's take a look at the roster, and you guys can help us out. When we take a look at free agency, what do we need? We'll just go through the roster here. So all of our rookies that we haven't signed because they're not 70 overall yet, so we're going to leave them. Same thing with our goaltender, Mackenzie Savard. But for our NHL team, Lehner and Scrivens as our 1-2 punch. Defenseman, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we could use a replacement for Phillips just in case he starts to drop off. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Centers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we actually have 5 centers this year. So we got to figure out something there. Left wingers, 1, 2. Greening, maybe, all right, but really only 2 so far. And then right wingers, 1, 2, 3, and maybe Dadonov. So 5. I'd say we definitely need two depth players, like 2 wingers, just like we got last year with Winnick and Joel Ward. Another 2 this year, I think. We could throw Greening and Condra in there, but I think if we get 2 more guys who are much better defensively, maybe body checking categories, I think that would help out our team. But are they going to be available? That's going to be the question. We got $10 million to work with right here. So let's take a look at who's available, and this is where you guys can go nuts. I'll set up a link to the website because this is going to be a very interesting one, all right? So goaltenders, let's see. Oh, my God. Frederik Andersen is available in the goaltender section. So, I mean, that's a lot of money. He wants $7 million, right? But there is a sweet goaltender available in free agency this year. Defenseman, Jared Spurgeon, Carl Gunnarsson, Kyle Quincy, Keith Ballard, all right? So there's definitely some players here that could replace Chris Phillips, but they're all going to cost us an arm and a leg, so you got to keep in mind the salary cap. And then also forwards, Ryan Kessler, which would be huge for us, but remember, that would push down Zibanejad, and we'd have to give up a lot to get him. It's a big contract that we're taking on. Same thing with Kyle Okposo, big contract, and that means that somebody in our top 6 is replaced. I don't know if I want to do that, right? Whereas a guy like Justin Abdelkader would be perfect for the bottom 6. Same thing with Nick Spaulding or maybe a Thomas Fleischman, Jarrett Stoll. These guys would be better to actually help our team for next year, right? So you guys have seen the free agents. You know what our team looks like right now. What do we need? I want to come back next year, make the playoffs again, and try to make it past the second round without blowing up our roster too much. But at the same time, I want to improve ourselves. So, you know, like a guy like Frederik Andersen, that's a young goalie right there. That could be your goalie of the future. But a guy like Ryan Kessler, he would be on your team for the next 3 years, you know, but then Zibanejad moves down to the third line. So we got to figure out what we want to do here, boys. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.